Hi, I'm Al Davis, founder of the Epic Food Plan. In my last video, what I did is I talked about the various types of kitchen knives, or the knives you'll encounter around the kitchen. This is Vegetable Chopping 101. I take some of the most common, the most popular vegetables and show you how to slice and dice them. And I'll be using the French chef's knife for doing that. In the last video, you might recall, I showed how the weight of a knife, I used the other knife in the demonstration, the Chinese chef's knife, would cut the tomato easily. The same thing happens here. Let's say you're using a cherry tomato for a salad. Simply cut like that, or you can also turn it over and cut like that. It's certainly strong, or certainly heavy enough to go right through because it's razor sharp. This is a small version of the Persian cucumber. I think they're called Persians, or English cucumber might be better. Just trim the stem ends off. Now the thing I've found is that if you cut them like this, they're invariably going to roll away. Alright, I usually just cut them on an angle so they don't roll away. It's much harder for them to roll away. Alternatively, what you can do is cut them in half, and then you can cut them like so. Notice how I'm holding the knife. I got my thumb on the top, I got my finger wrapped around, and I got it firmly I'm grabbing it firmly. You don't want this thing to be able to twist. You don't want to have your little finger up there. You don't have the stability on the turning that way. You want your thumb on top at all times with one of these knives. Now I realize there's many ways to make cuts. I'm showing you one of them. You can look around on the internet if you want and find other ways. This is celery, obviously. This is the end that's close to, this is the end at the base of the stalk. You want to trim that off because A, it's nasty looking, and B, there gets dirt in it. So I find it easier to cut them in half and cut them down the middle, and that way you get pieces that are more or less the same size. Notice what I'm doing here is I'm grouping them in this case there's 3 of them, and I'm cutting 3 at a time for efficiency and for speed. You don't have to do this if you don't feel comfortable with it. Start slow, start with one stalk and go from there. I'm not going fast enough. You can go a lot faster than this. And this way of cooking, slicing and dicing a pile of vegetables is not something that's at all intimidating. Carrots are a little trickier. And I say that, you want to cut the stem end off. I say that because they're harder and they can roll. So I'm taking this one and I'm slicing it in half the long way, being careful not to let it roll, turning it sideways, and again slicing it in small pieces like that. This size is good for salads, throw in a soup. And again, there's many ways to slice these things. What we're trying to do is get the pieces more or less the same size. It's never going to happen completely exactly, but we're going for approximate. So we're going to use the same trick that I used on the cucumber. We're going to cut this on an angle so the pieces don't roll away. See how they don't go very far? If you cut them like this, they're liable to take off running across the cutting board. Well, they're not this time, but believe me, they will. All right, here's a tomato again. I'm going to cut that up. This is probably going to wind up in my lunch. So let's take a red pepper. Like with any of this stuff, there's a lot of ways to cut them. I personally like to do it. See where the stem is there? I like to get them right below this spot right here. So you're taking off the top. You pop that thing out. Make sure it's clean in there. You often get a little dirt collected in there. Then you take the inside there. You scoop it out into the trash. Knock the seeds out. I think that has most of them. And you just want to slice it. I'm cutting it into 4 pieces. You can cut it into as many as you want. And from there, just make slices. I'm not going to take the time to do the whole thing. I just want you to get the idea. I'll slice one more. And this way, when you do it this way, you cut the top off, you can use this piece. Now, if I have company coming over, I'm not going to use this because it's not as cool looking as the insides, but it tastes perfectly fine. So let's cut one more of those chunks. We'll chop them up. Notice how I'm cutting a whole bunch of stuff at once in the interest of speed. And what I'm doing is I'm grabbing, kind of like a claw on top, and I'm running the blade, the edge of the knife, right along like that. My fingers are a 1/16 of an inch. My fingers are about a 1/16 of an inch away from the blade. It's never near the blade. Never that close to the blade. The big thing you want to remember in slicing and dicing is don't cut yourself. So this is a mega scallion, or a green onion as they call them. You can use the green part. You don't have to, but you can. The part we're definitely not going to use is the stem end. So let's cut that off. And we'll take that off. And we're going to cut this part off. This is, if you like saving vegetable scraps, this is perfectly good for using in stews. This is a demo, so I'm just going to get rid of this stuff. Now, this is much bigger than a normal scallion. This is bigger than my finger. So what we're going to do, I'm going to cut it down this way so we have more scallion-sized pieces. This is more for garnish than anything else. So let me just cut this. And you notice how I get the little scallion pieces. And you notice how easy it is to cut these things. Now, what I'm going to do, before I get to the other end, is I'm going to turn it around, because you notice, right now, everything's held together at the stem. If I cut it up to here, I'm going to have 4 pieces to hold. This way I have this. This way I have the stem helping me hold the thing. All right. So we're just going to slice like this. And I'm not moving very quickly, but you can see, if you look to your left, my right, that there's a whole big pile of vegetables here that was cut in a very short period of time, and that's without even hurrying. Last and definitely not least is an onion. I remember seeing a video a few weeks ago. A group of 20-year-old adults were being asked, how do you slice an onion, and only one of them knew. It was very sad. So once you see this, you'll know how to do it. There's many ways to slice onions. This is the way that I prefer. Slice off the stem end, slice off the top end, cut it in half. I got a funky inside here, which is good for the demo because I can show you what to do with it. Just take the whole thing out, peel off the skin, take the funky inside out. There's another piece that's a little funky there. Take another layer off. Not going to get as much onion as I would like. That's all right. It'll still work for the demo, I hope. All right, we're going to take another layer off. Onion's a little tired. So we have that piece. We're going to get rid of that. Now, taking this half of the onion, I'm going to show you on an angle here. I'm cutting down like this, and we're going to leave a little bit attaching right down there. Hope you're following. I've made 3 cuts here, and then what we're going to do is cut at an angle all the way around, like this. You notice how I'm rotating my hand. We're going to diced onions, and then the last little bit you just have to chop by hand. See, just took a second. And these are particularly difficult because of the lack of the inside there. But again, slice like this at an angle. There's some slippery skin there, which is going to be a safety hazard. Notice how slow I'm going intentionally because of the slippery skin. And again, you go around. And there you have basic slicing and dicing 101. I didn't cut myself once, and in fact, I rarely cut myself. If you learn how to do this, when you're learning how to do this, start slow. Don't try to go fast. Don't go intentionally slow. Eventually, your body will learn how to do this, and you'll be able to go a lot faster than what I've done here today. Enjoy.